Hello everybody in the Share the Dignity world. I am joined today with Kirsten from the DivaCup, and I know I have a million questions, so I assume you would all too. Did you know that menstrual cups come in different sizes?
Yes.
Look at that. That is the
Model
size zero,
yeah.
which is for
18 years and like younger.
Yeah.
So those first starting out with their periods, new to the world of periods, as we like to say.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And what other sizes?
We've got Model 1 for under 30 and have not had any children, and then over 30 who have had children. Yeah, did I say under?
Yeah,
over 30.
Okay.
Over. So if you've had kids, this is usually the one that you would go after, which is our largest cup. It looks like people often say like, oh, it's a little bit big, but it's really not once you get
Let's
the folds
fold
in.
it. Let's fold it and
so
show
we've got
them.
the two different folds. I'll go ahead and use the Model 2 so it shows you how small it actually gets. So this one here is the push down fold. You can see that. So you just push it, literally push it down. And then it folds down to like that small. So if you see the difference compared to a tampon, it's actually quite small. So it's a lot less intimidating. And as you can see, it's very flexible.
What are they made of?
Medical grade silicone. So you have nothing to worry about. DivaCup specifically go through a strenuous process for making sure the certification is just highest standard. Yeah. So
which I will just tip on that sometimes people think you can buy them online for $1. We don't actually even pass them on. So please, we cannot have them donated if they do not have the Therapeutics Goods Association tick of approval.
Yeah. And I mean, you're putting this inside your body.
Absolutely.
You want to make sure that it's the highest quality possible. Especially you're putting it inside your body and it's reusable, so every single month.
How long has DivaCup been around for?
Oh wow, that is a great question. I know it's at least 15 years.
Wow.
I think maybe longer.
And how long have menstrual cups been around for? Because at the age of 50, I'd never actually heard of them until Share the Dignity had come into my world.
Well, menstrual cups as like an invention have been around since the 1930s, similar to tampons. They came out around the same time.
Wow.
But they just have taken a little while longer to take off because we are people of convenience and, you know, disposable society. And now we're realizing that this is just so much more convenient and so much more
and
sustainable.
How good for the environment.
Yes.
Did you know that the pads and tampons actually never really break down and they just go into our landfill as well?
Yeah.
So how many pads and tampons would we use in a lifetime?
I think it's like close to 9,000 tampons. Yeah, in a lifetime.
And how many of these would you need?
37 in a lifetime max.
Right.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Unless you live, you know, 150, I don't know.
yeah, right. Or you've got endometriosis and you're going through it. So how much blood do we lose in a period? In a normal person, so I'm not talking about somebody with endometriosis.
Everyone is normal. It just depends on the flow.
Normal is a cycle on a washing machine is what I say.
Exactly. And so everyone's different, but on average, for all women, most women will only fill up this cup, being the Model 2, once. In their whole period.
Right.
And that is just an average, but for most women, this is all they'll need. Yeah.
Wow.
And I hear people say, oh my goodness, like that thing's gonna overflow. I'm gonna fill it up so many times, and then they come back to me and they're like, oh, I only filled it up to there. Like, it's not.
That like takes my one of my favorite quotes of "You filleth my cup," right?
Yeah,
a little bit too far, right?
Meaning.
Yeah. So, if I was to ask then, how long can I leave this in safely?
8 hours. 8 hours is the official number, and that means you can go all night long, you can go through school, you can go through your work day, whatever you need to do, and without having to worry about changing.
Because ultimately, for anyone else who did this in their time, I used to just put all the tampons in my bra and that would suit me for the day, so it didn't matter where I was going.
That's fantastic.
I know, that's very clever, but isn't that's about period shaming, right? That's about never owning up to never having to go into
it's pretty resourceful though. That's
Wow. I met this amazing young woman the other day who told me how she got her period that was not expected in her formal dress. In her light blue formal dress. Oh my God, share your worst period story with us because we'd love to hear them. We all have them, right?
We all have them. Yeah.
And so when we look at going to buy a DivaCup, how do we recognize the different ones in the shop?
3 different sizes. So this is the Model 0, and it's got the lovely peach packaging.
Yep.
And then we've got the pink and the blue, which is the Model 1 and the Model 2. Just slightly different. And be careful when you're buying them to definitely make sure you're getting the right one. Because I personally, when I was 18 and I bought my first DivaCup, I was very shy about my period back then, and I was just quickly like, I have to buy this thing, okay? Went in, grabbed the first one I saw, thinking they were the same, even though they were very clearly different. Grabbed the Model 2, ran out of the store, got home, could not get it in. I was like, that, because the size really does matter. People think, oh, it's only like a few mils, it's not going to make a difference. It really does when you're working with a very small space. Yeah. So yeah, it does make a difference. So make sure you read up on which one you need before you purchase. And
so lots of people are a little bit concerned about what happens if they can't insert this. So what's your tips on that?
Okay, so we have lots of tips, but my biggest tip would be to make sure you're nice and relaxed. It is very easy to use when you start, like once you get the hang of it. But in the beginning, we always say, like, just like a tampon, just like anything, you have to just give it some time to practice. When you're inserting, there's the two different folds that I think we showed you before. Yeah. But there's the push down, that one. I don't know if you can see that. Push down, and you insert, and it goes up like this. Yep. Opens up, and you make sure you try to give it a little twist. Go full 360 degrees. So that way the rim is totally open. And this little ridge here with the 4 holes around the edge, I'll just show you like that, is actually how it creates the seal. So once that's totally open and those little holes are all nice and clean, which are not hard to clean, they sound like they would be, but they're not, then it's totally sealed and you can leave it in there for up to 8 hours. And then when you're ready to remove, the most important thing is to pinch the base. You just pinch the base, and it didn't move much at the top, but it's just enough to break that seal, and pull it out, empty the contents, either wipe it out if you're happy to be in a public area and you need to get back to work or whatever it is, or if you're happy to be in the shower, you wash it and then reinsert. So it sounds very complex sometimes, but once you get the hang of it, it takes me less than a minute to change mine now. That is fabulous. I cannot believe how much I have learned just in that. Why do people move to using menstrual cups? Mostly, we get a lot of people that start out using it for the sustainability factor. So the earth, they're always like, you know what, okay, I gotta stop. This is something I can do that will lower my impact on the planet. And then we usually find that they're like, okay, I don't even care if it helped the planet. It's so convenient. I'm going to keep using it forever. That like the convenience is usually the main thing. How long you can go without having to worry about it. I have a very heavy cycle and I don't even think about it anymore. It's just like, well, imagine a world where we have given out all of these menstrual cups, or that women are using and girls are using menstrual cups, and they're not having to rely on the fact that they are living under the poverty line and can't afford sanitary items. Like, that's a whole different world in itself, right? So when you give one of these to someone, that's how many, there are at least 12 cycles that they don't have to worry about where products are going to come from. How long does a cup last for? We recommend replacing it every year, and that's a general recommendation, so that everyone's different. Everyone has a different pH balance, acidity levels, all that sort of thing. So just as a general rule of thumb, we always say check your cup, make sure there's no like film on it, or it's just make sure that the integrity of it is solid and it's looking good. There's no severe discoloration, that sort of thing. DivaCup does not use any colors or dyes in their products, because you sometimes will see ones that are very colored. Those dollar cups you were talking about often are colored. And that's nice because it doesn't stain as quickly, but it creates a lot of waste in the production process, and we just don't want to ever risk any colors or dyes getting into your body. Yeah. So, a woman normally has a cycle for about 35 to 40 years, right? Give or take. Yeah. So you'd be looking at having to be purchasing about 37 of these cups in your lifetime? Yeah, and it is ultimately up to the user how long they use it, but we do an official recommendation of 1 year. Yeah. How do you at the end of your month when you've cleaned it, or when you're finished, how do you keep it? And do you have to, you don't put it in the dishwasher, right? You don't put it in nappy, like the sterile stuff. Okay, so you don't have to do this every cycle, but some women like to do this every cycle. You can actually just boil it. You boil it for, I think it's only 5 minutes. Don't quote me on that, but you just boil it so it sterilizes the cup, and then you make sure it's dried thoroughly and pop it into its little pack. That I will open this. So definitely not the dishwasher then, because your husband wouldn't like to smell and find in the chemicals that could potentially stick to it, you don't want that in your body. So that's why, we'll just grab one of these. So this is its little pouch that it can live in when it's either in your purse or under the sink or wherever you decide to keep it. And it's cotton, so it breathes, and you're not going to get any like mildews or anything like that on it. Obviously, when you go to start your next cycle, just check the cup and make sure you didn't, somehow leave something on there. But that's the best place to store it. Wow, I think I have learned so much about DivaCups, and I'm forever in awe of how much information about menstruation that I've taken in over the last 5 years. But that last
20 minutes has been so valuable. I hope it has helped you. I hope that we can, you know, try to convert a few more people over to using a menstrual cup, because it's so good for the environment and so good for you to never be reliant on having to run to the shop to get what you need. I wonder if people have multiples. Like for me, I can never find my glasses, right? So I would need to have a DivaCup in my handbag. I need to have one in my bathroom. Do they have multiples on the go?
Obviously, I work with the brand, but I always have I say every girl should have a purse Diva and a bathroom Diva.
Right,
so you've got one in both places at all times, just in case you need it.
Yeah.
I even most of the time have one in my car, just in case.
Yeah, that would be me. That would be me.
Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much, and look out for Diva in your shopping centres. So that you can purchase them, and maybe one for you and one for a woman in need.
Yes.